Good evening and welcome to the 27th Annual African American Student Recognition Program. My name is Jimmy Hart. I serve as Director of TUSD's African American Student Services under the Multicultural Student Services and Student Equity and Intervention Division. For 27 years, the African American Studies Department, now named the African American Student Services Department, in collaboration with our district and school leaders, have come together to recognize our brilliant students. Yes, every student honored today has exhibited brilliance or excellence in some form or fashion. Parents, thank you for your continued commitment as we celebrate with you your child's achievement. Now this evening, in our presence are some very distinguished individuals. And so I'd like us to acknowledge and honor those individuals. So if you would help me in honoring all these distinguished guests, please look to your right and to your left and give that person a nice big welcome. I know some of you didn't think you were going to be counted in that equation, but yes, we did include you. Also present this evening are two members of our governing board. I'd like them to just stand and raise their hand, and you'll see them later on in the program. Mr. Michael Hicks, let's give him a round of applause. And Crystal Foster, who serves as clerk of our governing board. It's always a pleasure for us to have our superintendent here with us, Dr. John Petticone, who has come to literally almost basically every event. Our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Maria Minconi, Assistant Superintendent of Elementary and K-8, Maggie Schaefer, and Assistant Superintendent of our High School and Middle School Leadership, Dr. Abel Murado, our Executive Director of Student Equity and Intervention, who you'll hear from shortly, Mr. James Fish. And also with us this evening is our Public Relations Director, Cara Renee. Let's give her a round of applause. Mr. Gene Butler, Director of Middle Schools. And then I always have to acknowledge my cohort and colleagues that I work with on a daily basis. Here present, Mr. Brian Lambert, who serves as a program manager within Student Equity and Intervention. And Ms. Sue Bailey Jones, who serves as Director of Asian Pacific Student Services and Refugee Services. Roxanne D. James, who serves as the Director of Native American Student Services. And then also Maria Figueroa, who serves as Director of Mexican American Student Services. Thank you all for being here. And then we have some community members. None of what we do can happen without the support of community members. So I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Effie Gregory. He does a show on Sunday mornings on the KXCR radio. The pastor of my church, Pastor Demetrius Miles of Tucson Church International. Let's give him a round of applause. Marie Seifers. Marie Seifers is responsible for the African American Heritage Day that we hold each year for our students. Let's give her a round of applause. Ms. Frida Baker. Let's give her a round of applause, retired educator. These individuals also serve on the advisory board. And I'd like to also acknowledge some of our past basketball greats here at the University of Arizona, Mr. Bob Elliott and Mr. Corey Williams. Thank you for your presence. And of course, this whole program could not happen without the support of a dynamic staff, the staff of the African American Student Services Department. So let's give them a round of applause. emceeing with me this evening is Ms. Desiree Cueto, who is outstanding in her own right and serves as our multicultural curriculum coordinator and staff development, where she helps embed and work with schools in embedding a multicultural approach to our curriculum. Let's give Ms. Cueto a round of applause.
Thank you very much, and good evening. I just wanted to say it's wonderful to be here tonight as we celebrate extraordinary African-American students who are excelling academically in their middle schools and high schools. And I emphasize the word academically, because it's too often that our children are the center of conversations that begin with words like at risk and failing. It's also too often that we're invited to celebrate our kids for their athletic or their musical talents and not for their ability to think. I feel honored that I have this opportunity to introduce what I would consider our brand ambassadors, and by that I mean that these students dispel stereotypes and they bring a new vision of what is possible in our schools. They're African American, they're smart, they're high-achieving scholars who are striving for success and a bright future. Each name called tonight represents the best of who we are and what we can accomplish. And I just want to thank all of you parents and educators who came out here to celebrate this tonight. It's so extremely important. I've had an opportunity to be in this district for about a year and a half now, and I can just tell you that when I first started at Rincon High School and coming into this position and now being able to see so many of our kids, my spirit is lifted by kids like yours and by parents like you who support them and show everyone here in Tucson and the world that our kids can and do achieve. So thank you.
Give yourself a round of applause. I'd like to also recognize one other person, the namesake of Maxwell Middle School. With us this evening is Mr. Morgan Maxwell Jr. The school is named after his father, and it's a special treat to have you here this evening to acknowledge those students with us from Maxwell Middle School.
Okay, now for our official welcome, I'd like to bring to you the podium Mr. George Brown, Family Mentor Specialist from African American Student Services.
Good evening. My name is George Brown, and I'm here along with numerous parents, teachers, and administrators. We are here to recognize those students who have put forth the level of effort that has resulted in excellent grades and various other accomplishments. To each of you students who will be recognized tonight, I would like to be the first to say thanks for a job well done. You are developing and have acquired those attributes that you would need later on in life. Many of you have earned scholarships to some of the most prestigious colleges and universities in the United States. For those underclassmen, you are in a much better situation today than you were when you started the school year. And because of your actions, each of you will be better prepared to move to the next level, which for some may be even here on the campus of the University of Arizona. To all of you, again, and to parents especially, thanks, thanks, and thanks again. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Please help me in welcoming to the podium Pastor Demetrius Miles of Tucson Church International. He will give the invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we bless you and thank you. We honor you for this wonderful privilege and great opportunity that we have to come together. We acknowledge this evening that it is by your grace. Thank you for TUSD, and thank you for our superintendent. Thank you for the board. And Lord, we specifically honor you and bless you for the African American Student Services. We thank you for every student. Thank you for the recognition tonight. Thank you for the village, the family, the community that's helping to make this happen. Father, I pray tonight for your continued wisdom and grace and knowledge to rest upon the leadership team of African American Student Services. That, Lord, you would bring continued unity and that you would bring wisdom and insight as they lead and guide the next generation. Again, we bless you tonight and we thank you and we honor you and we glorify you for this wonderful opportunity to pause, one, to thank you, and secondly, to acknowledge the extraordinary accomplishments academically amongst this next generation. And we promise that we'll continue to give you all the glory and the honor and the praise, for we ask this now in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. All All right, you sound like he's going to get a little excited there and start preaching. All right, thank you, Pastor Miles.
Okay, now we're going to welcome Miss Tiana Williams from Utterback Middle School, who will lead us in the singing of the national anthem, followed by the Black national anthem.
Please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight hold the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Bravo!
If you'd like to sing along.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you. Tiana is a student at Utterback Middle School. I always enjoy hearing people sing lift every the Black National Anthem, because it's like we're singing the words and it's like and then we get to sing a song. It's like, sing a song. No, that's like the part we really know, so that kind of amused me there. Please help me in bringing another special guest and a longtime friend who is now Dr. Tanisha Price Johnson, Director of Admissions at the College of Medicine here at the University of Arizona. Please help me in welcoming her to the podium to do a welcome on behalf of the University of Arizona.
Good evening. On behalf of Dr. Ann Weaver Hart, Dr. Melissa Vito, and all of our University of Arizona leadership and all of those who love the University of Arizona, good evening. I am thrilled to be here not only as a University of Arizona professional here on campus, but I'm also really glad to be here because I am a proud graduate of Tucson Unified School District, kindergarten through first grade at Sam Hughes, second through sixth at Andy Tolson, a beloved graduate of Morgan Maxwell Junior High at the time, 7th and 8th grade, and a graduate of Choya High School. Go Chargers. Community is very personal for me. My position here at the University of Arizona allows me to bridge several communities simultaneously. It allows me to work and serve as an ambassador of higher education. It is my goal that when people see me, they see an opportunity for higher education. They see access to the University of Arizona, and that's one of my true passion is to make sure that if students want to come to school here, I do whatever I can to get him here or to another institution of higher learning. I think it's very important that as a community member, I continue to help build collaborative communities so that we can continue to build strong and smart students. So again, on the behalf of the University of Arizona, welcome, and always remember that once you step foot on this campus, you automatically become a Wildcat for life. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Price Johnson. So those listening in medical school, she's the person you want to talk to. Please help me in welcoming our superintendent, Dr. John Petticone, to the podium.
Tiana, was that not a beautiful rendition of it? Now, forget about what you heard when Jimmy got up here and tried that. But I got to tell you, I've heard Tiana sing many, many times, and those of you that are singers know that it's one thing to be able to use vibrato and get really beautiful, dulcet tones to come forward, but Tiana's got a voice of an angel. And she does it in a way that, and again, I've heard her sing this many times, I just enjoy it every time I hear it. So I want to thank all of you that are here on behalf of Tucson Unified School District for being here. And if you're a student, I thank you because you've lifted yourself and gotten to the point where you're here being recognized by everybody else in this room who are here because of you. And to each of you that are here, whether you're family or friends, teachers, administrators, or others, you're all here because you supported the students that are being recognized. And it simply makes a comment about the truth. And that is that we don't get anywhere in this life without others. And so for all of you that are here today, supporting the students who we're recognizing, I say thank you for being here, and to the students, of course, thank you for your excellence. You know, there's I think a great author and also I believe a statesman, James Baldwin, said long ago, long before any of the students in this room were born, he made the statement that people pay for what they do and still more for what they have allowed themselves to become, and they pay it very simply by the lives they lead. And so I encourage each of you students to pay it wisely and invest as you have today in your lives and do it well. Congratulations to each of you. We look forward to honoring you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Petticone.
As one of the only cabinet level African American administrators in our district, Mr. Jim Fish works diligently to create a climate that reinforces the academic and social development of African American students and all students in TUSD. I'd like to welcome him to the podium to say a few words this evening. Mr. Jim Fish.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of the Department of Student Equity and Intervention, along with African American Student Services. Certainly, I welcome everyone this evening to this most momentous celebration. I want to say something. I promised Jimmy that I wouldn't talk long because this is not about me and you all don't know me, so let's get on with the program. I understand that. I just want to say this to you, because sometimes when we come to these celebrations and we have a good time and we do take the time to celebrate the wonderful things that our children are doing, and we thank you, parents, friends, and family, for the support. I want you all to remember this is still a journey. We haven't reached our destination just yet. And as students, as you continue to move on in life, right now it feels like you're riding on the roller coaster of life, and the roller coaster is high now, and everybody's feeling good. It sounds great, it feels good. But all of a sudden, the roller coaster takes a dip. And that's when you need to hold true to the standards and to what your family has taught you about the difficult times, because you will face difficult times and difficult decisions that you will have to make. If you hold on to what you have learned, hold on to those who have modeled for you, it's easy for you then to get that roller coaster back up to the direction that you wanted to go, and you stay on high. And you stay there, because that's what you're all about. So while we celebrate, I do want to take the time to say, keep the work up. It's not always going to be easy, young ladies and gentlemen, because there's always going to be something or someone out there trying to get you just to try a little bit of something else. It is about you. Always be selfish enough to think and know that it's only about you. Keep that in your minds. Keep moving forward. Parents, family members, friends, don't forget, they may be big, they may be middle-aged kids, but they're still kids. They still need you. They will need you for a long time to come. But this evening, it's not about that. It's about celebration, and I congratulate all of you, and I look forward to these students coming across the stage. Thank you very much.
This time we're going to ask Mr. Eric Brown to come to the podium and give out the school who is the recipient of our Clinton Pinellas Award presentation. Mr. Brown is going to give a little history, but briefly, and this may be in his presentation, but Mr. Pinellas, Dr. Clinton Pinellas, was a high school counselor and is the founder of what we know as the Student Recognition Program today, and started it back in 1986. Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Good evening and congratulations. My name is Eric Brown, and tonight I have the honor of announcing the Clinton Pinellas Spirit Award. The Xavier Clinton Pinellas Spirit Award is in honor of Dr. Clinton Pinellas, an African-American educator who was dedicated to the empowerment of African-American youth. He wisely sought to instill in students the principles of self-motivation and personal pride, knowing that these values led to the confidence necessary to achieve their goals. As a counselor at Tucson High School, he began a program to develop leadership qualities for African-American students. Students were exposed to guest speakers and community members who addressed strategies for success in high school and beyond. Leadership was a primary focus and served as a foundation for college readiness and future careers. His efforts and those of like-minded colleagues culminated in an annual event which is now called the African American Student Recognition Program. The Xavier Clinton Pinellas Spirit Award is given to one school that has implemented practices in support of the academic and social advancement of African American students. Examples may involve strategies that support parents, students, and helping teachers implement culturally responsive practices. The purpose of this award is to honor one school each year that has demonstrated meeting the prior list of criteria. We also hope this award will encourage schools to increase collaboration with our department in an effort to address a long history of disproportionate suspensions, office referrals, and special education placement. Furthermore, to address the disproportionate academic scores and enrollment in upper-level courses such as GATE and AP. This year's honored school has implemented strategies over the past 2 years to increase the percentage of African American students enrolled in advanced placement courses. This school has collaborated with the African American Student Services Department to work with students who are struggling and also help achieving students to continue to succeed and encourage enrollment in rigorous courses. This is evident by the increased number of students taking advanced placement courses now. Teachers at this school collaborate with our department to embed a multicultural and culturally responsive curriculum. The school's leadership team has implemented a proactive discipline strategies as well. Out-of-school suspensions for African American students have significantly decreased over the past 2 years. It's my honor to recognize this year's Xavier Clinton Pinnell Spirit Award winner, Mansfield Middle School.
All right.
Paul DeWert.
Briefly about Mansfield Middle School, and I think Mr. DeWert doesn't mind me saying this now. 3 years ago, the suspension rate of African American students at that school was 101% to the enrollment. So there were 57 suspensions, and 56 African Americans enrolled in the school are students who identify as African American. Many of those students were multi-suspended, and most of the African American males in that school were suspended. So we fast forward to today with a principal who truly cares about his work and all of his students, working with the staff, doing some staff development in the area of culturally responsive practices, willingly accepting the community to come into the school. The National Society of Black Engineers, having volunteers in the school on a regular basis, mentor groups for boys and girls, and the result has been a dramatic decline in suspensions of our students and an incline of academic achievement, including if you go online and look at their Ames data, it has consistently gone up in reading and math the past 3 years. So let's give them one more round of applause. There was a second school that was in consideration, and that was Palo Verde High School. Unfortunately, we only do one award, but if you look at Palo Verde High School's data, they continue to show increase in math and reading and writing as well academically, and became a B-rated school this year. So let's give Palo Verde a round of applause.
We'd now like to welcome back to the stage Dr. Tanisha Price Johnson, along with Miles Warrior from African American Student Services, who will present awards to students who have earned a perfect 4.0 grade point average.
Mr. Fish, we'd like you to come to the podium, or to the stage to help with this, Dr. Petticone. Dr. McConey.
Excuse me.
Dr. Ruff, please come. So each year, and I'm going to point this one out because you all didn't know it, each year we make at least one mistake. So the mistake this year, we have these chairs that are left on the stage, and I'm sitting here wondering, why are these chairs on the stage? I could say it's for our leadership who may need to sit down at some point during the program, but it's actually we left them on stage by accident, so I'm going to scoot them back.
Okay, we will go ahead and begin. And as someone who just went through graduation last week, my mother said it's very important to make sure they get your name right. So I'm practicing as I'm presenting, so please forgive me, moms and dads. Our first recipient is Joshua Bayer. Alyssa Bramschreiber. Kimberly Crowder. Okay, so we hope that you know you're supposed to come to the stage and get your award. I'm sorry. Okay, keep moving. Magnifique Bijurama. Samya John. Samantha Jankowski. Abby Penix. Tamia Wagner. Gideon Irumva. Jasmine Thomas. Lena Blackman. Natalie Izuku. And Mackenzie King. We also have Sadia Felina.
Let's give these students one more round of applause for making the fourth. Please exit to your right. To your right. One more.
Abdi Mohammed. So apparently we have one more from Catalina High School, Dagam Ishtate.
We have one student who made a 4.0 for 4 years of high school. She's listed by herself in your program, and that's Miss Kiara Lee from Santa Rita High School. Okay, Miss Lee is not here, but her, one of the assistant principals for our high school, Ms. Thomas, is going to come up and receive the honor on her behalf. At this time, we're going to recognize our two scholarship recipients of the Legacy of Excellence scholarship. Ms. Keisha Coleman and Nicole Chambers will come to the podium to do that honor. Real briefly, while they're coming to the podium, the Stewardship of Inspiration Award was given to a community member, a classified staff member, and a certified teacher this year as part of our Legacy of Excellence Scholarship Banquet. During that banquet, we raised a minimum of $4,800 to give 2 scholarships to deserving students. Please help me in welcoming Ms. Coleman and Ms. Chambers.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. We really appreciate this. I'm proud to introduce to you a recipient of the African American Student Recognition Scholarship. So if you are here, I would like to ask that Damian Schindler and Andrew Muse please come up to the front, please. Damian? Damian Schindler is a senior at Palo Verde Magnet High School, and he will be attending the University of Arizona in the fall and plans to become a mechanical engineer. Damian has always been taught to persevere and to make it happen. When asked who has influenced him, with no hesitation, all praises were given to God, his mother, as well as his Uncle John, who taught him to become the man he is growing to become.
Andrew Muse will be graduating in less than probably 8 days from Sabino High School. He will be attending the University of Arizona in the fall, and he'll be majoring in medicine. His goal is to become an orthopedic surgeon. His foundation of continued education was laid down at an early age by his role model, his mother. He has watched her and continues to watch her provide for their family here in Arizona as well as his family in Kenya. Andrew Muse.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Gentlemen, please step forward real briefly. And we have students who receive scholarships every year, and no doubt we have many young men who always receive scholarships. But we know in this day and time, for minority males, receiving scholarships and performing well academically is always a challenge. So let's give these 2 young men a round of applause. There are many of our students who have received scholarships at all of our universities, locally and as well as nationally. And I also want to thank a number of our community organizations who are here in the audience, whose organizations give scholarships, like the Southern Arizona Buffalo Soldiers gave out 3 scholarships to our students. The Delta Sigma Theta sorority gave out a scholarship. The Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity gave out 3 $1,000 scholarships to TUSD students. And the list go on. So we thank you, community, for your support and helping our students reach their goals by going to college.
I'd now like to begin recognizing all of the students here this evening. We're going to start with Booth Fickett, McGee Middle School, and Rossridge. Please meet your representatives in the back.
Mr. Butler, Mr. Renee, we'd like to have you all on stage to help acknowledge our students as well. Your choice, how about that?
And Mr. Conrad, Mr. Howe.
Pastor Miles, would you like to come up and help acknowledge our students? Yes. And of course, our governing board members, you all know you can't be left off the list. It's important that our students shake as many important hands as possible. Come on, Mr. Hicks. Please help me acknowledging Board President Adelina Grijalva to the far left. Thank you for being here this evening. And parents,
Fickett students will be introduced by Michael Conrad. McGee Middle School students will be introduced by Daniel Erickson. And Ross Scrooge students will be introduced by, stay with me,
Jose Olivas.
Jose Olivas. Thank you.
and parents, we ask that so many times at these awards, once your student comes across the stage, we like to get up and leave, and it creates all this confusion. So as much as possible, if you could just find it in your heart for our children. If you could just please stay through the end of the program. We purposely have our students sitting off to the side like a graduation ceremony, so when they come through, they're going to go across the stage, go back around, and go back to their seats. This portion of our program is extremely fast, and we just hope that the very last student who comes across this stage has as many people to clap for him or her as the very first student. Thank you very much.
So that we can keep this moving, in the next round we'll have Carson, Fort Lowell Townsend, and Mansfeld. So you're on deck.
On behalf of Booth Fickett, we have Mr. Goldberg, our assistant principal, Mr. Chilgreen, our assistant principal of Booth, and Ms. Keisha Coleman. Our first student, Jeremiah Allen. Jezaniah Allen. Derek Bush. Serena Cadena. Mercedes Cuestas. Keishyla Griffin. Caleb Hill. Samantha Jankowski. Javon Jones. Ivory Mallard. Satara Elam. Crystal McGinnis. Christian Nash. Nasir Pate. Cadis Peters. Karina Trevino. Annalisa Watson. Kiana Whaley. And Rihanna Williams. Booth Fickett.
While the next school is preparing, I'd like to also welcome Pastor McDowell, who's here. Let's give him a round of applause, one of our community members and local pastors.
calling the students for McGee Middle School. First, we have Kobe Bell, and Kobe is receiving an Academics and Attendance Award. Next, we have Tony Escarpeta, and she's getting an Athletics Award. Next, we have Damon Gibson Reed, and he's being nominated for his athleticism and his academics. Next, we have Courtney Brady, and she's our humanitarian this year. And we have Avery, and Avery will be getting one for academics. Next, we have two sisters, Marvel and NK Njunge, and one is for attendance and the other is for humanitarian. And lastly, we have Mercedes Reese, and she is being honored for her academics. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Paul Dewart. I'm the principal of Mansfield Middle School. I'm joined by Eric Brown, and I am so excited to introduce to you proud members of Bulldog Nation. Our first recipient is Raven Evans for Outstanding Academic Achievement. You already had a chance to meet this young lady. This is Sadia Falana for Academics and Humanitarian. Miss Jamia Gerald for Outstanding Academic Achievement. Jeffrey Lockwood for Outstanding Academic Achievement. Last but not least, Alicia Wilson for Outstanding Academic Achievement.
Thank you. We have Carson Roscroot, Fort Lowell, coming up. Dodge, Gridley, and Hohokam are on deck.
Good evening. My name is John Belser. I'm the principal of Fort Lowell Townsend, and I am proud to introduce our outstanding students. The first student coming up is Magnifique Bergamana. Magnifique's got a tough name. And she got her 4.0 certificate already. Next student coming up is Jimmy Jared Cephas. That's Jared's mom over there. Our next student up is Samia Johns. Samia? Samia is a 4.0 student. And then our last student coming up is DeAndre Washington. Thank you. Congratulations, Fort Lowell Townsend Tigers.
Again, we're waiting to see Roscroot and Carson, Dodge, Gridley, and Hohokam coming up. Okay, we have Doolin, Miles, Maxwell, and Pister coming up. Mercedes Reese. Doolin Miles Maxwell Pister. Roberts Naylor, Rose or Safford. On deck will be Pueblo Garden, Seacrest, and Utterback. Just so we can keep it rolling, after that we'll have Vail, Valencia, and Wakefield. And now we'll complete the middle school portion of this ceremony.
For Dodge Middle School, we have Adam Muhammad.
Good evening, my name is Kathy Sheppy and I'm the principal of Ridley Middle School. And presenting with me tonight is David Dietz, our learning support coordinator. And we have two fine students here we'd like to take the time to recognize. First one for academic achievement is Jasmine County. And for athletic achievement, I think Terrence was in every sport we had. Please help me congratulate Terrence Moore. And our other fine students must be home studying. Thank you very much.
My name is Connie Cepeda. I'm the principal at Roberts Naylor, and on my right you have Sean Wilkins, and he is the assistant principal, and he's going to help us tonight recognize some of our best students at Roberts Naylor. So here's our first one. Marian Alley for academics and arts. Dante Jackson for academics and arts. Herman Casey for academics. And this student has already been recognized, and he will be recognized again for his achievement. Dulai Muhammad for academics and humanitarian. And our last one, but certainly not least, Orani Mwamba, humanitarian. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Caroline Stewart, and I'm the Learning Support Coordinator at CE Rose, and I'm very proud and delighted to introduce to you Kendall Irvin, in honor of your athletic achievement. and Cesar Jimenez Davis in honor of your humanitarian achievement. Congratulations.
Good evening. We're Pister Middle School, and my name is Mary Stewie. I'm assistant principal, and I'd like to present our first award for academic achievement to Faisal Abdi. And our next three students, for some reason, did not get recognized with the Stoles, and these three have a 4.0 cumulative through the first 3 quarters. So I hope we can recognize them. The first one is Cameron Dedelis. Abdul Kadir Jamal. And Darian Strayhorn.
Schools on deck will be Catalina Choya and Howenstein, followed by Palo Verde, Pueblo, and Teenage Parent.
Good evening. I'm Martha Taylor, the proud principal of Doolin Middle School. I am here this evening with my assistant principal, Veronica Dudan, and my fabulous African American advisor, Marilyn McGlory. And we are happy to honor our students. We will begin with Nehemiah Brown, Outstanding Academics. Delana Crenshaw, Outstanding Academics. Angel Darton, Outstanding Academics. Desiree Estes, Outstanding Academics. Afi Luso, Outstanding Academics. Samuel Luso, Outstanding Academics. Omar Malin, Most Improved. Rebecca Mopadish, Outstanding Academics and Outstanding in Fine Arts. And Unique Ratliff, Outstanding Academics and Outstanding Humanitarian. Congratulations, Doolin Thunderbirds.
I'm Mary Quinnan. I'm the principal of Maxwell Middle School. I'm so happy to be here to recognize our best and brightest. To introduce our students tonight, Ms. Jillian Parkhurst. Our instructional coach is here, and she has a lot to do with the success of these students. So thank you, Ms. Parkhurst. And we will begin.
Good evening. We will begin with Ade Abdi Kadir, followed by her sister, Fatuma Abdi Kadir. Hassan Abkar. Isaiah Ashley. Ardo Omar. And last but not least, Nadia Washington. All right, good evening. Thank you for being here and thank you for being patient. We're almost done. We are S. We're Seacrest Middle School. Very, very proud to give awards to 3 girls. 1 tonight for academic achievement and excellence in athletics, Abby Penix, 4.0. Sierra Sanders for academics, and Destiny Turner for academics and fine arts.
Good evening. My name is Dinah McGlory, and I'm the interim assistant principal at Utterback Middle Magnet School. Along with me is Deborah Worthy, our academic specialist. We're here to honor the following unicorns. First, Jada Davis, academics. Denisha Hayward, fine arts. Nikisha Holland, academics. Robert Jackson, academics. Tyra Jenkins, academics. Jason Parrish, academics. DeAndre Perry, humanitarian. Ashante Robinson, academics. Kyla Stimbridge, academics. Jocelyn Watson, academics. Brandon Williams, academics. And Tiana Williams, academics.
Good job, middle school students. While we transition to high school, I'd like to acknowledge a few more individuals here. Advisory board members, Ms. Patterson and Mr. Patterson, thank you for being here this evening. Let's give them a round of applause. She's a retired educator for TUSD. And Steen Hill, Vice President at Raytheon Missile Systems. Let's give Ms. Steen a round of applause as well. Ms. Hill, thank you for being here.
Good evening. I have the honor of introducing 4 beautiful students from Safford K-8 Magnet School. The first is Isis Booker. Next is Rebecca Odu. Kayla Purdy. And Mylia Truitt.
High schools that will be on deck will be Catalina Choya Howenstein, followed by Palo Verde, Pueblo, and Teen Karen.
Good evening. Valencia Jaguars would like to honor the following students. Joe George IV for academic achievement. Omar Beredia for outstanding academic achievement.
Hi, good evening. I just want to say how proud we are. I'm here on behalf of Balancedale Middle School to acknowledge these students' achievements. The first one is Tanaya Davis, and she is for outstanding academic achievement and athletics. The second is Gideon Arumba for 4.0 academic achievement. Desiree Harden, outstanding academic achievement. Ro J. Lennon for outstanding academic achievement and humanitarian award. Miwa Nambula for outstanding academic achievement. Destiny Linton for outstanding academic achievement.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany McKee, and I'm the principal at Wakefield Middle School. This evening, I am honored to present Mr. Marshall Davis with our Outstanding Academic Achievement Award and our Humanitarian Award. We also have Ms. Jumana Laguna, who received our Humanitarian Award, and she'll be receiving this award tomorrow at school.
Good evening. I'm Jana Acevedo from Palo Verde High School, and on behalf of the Titans and the Titan family, we'd like to congratulate our students and all students here tonight and their families. It's a great honor. With me to help present tonight is Miss Bev Elliott, our counselor, and Josh Sanders will be calling names. Josh, and he is our academic specialist. Again, congratulations to all.
Adio. Sarita Mary Otterbaum. Jocelyn Eaton. Janea Greenhouse. Denisha Hayden. Kavana Hopkins. Jordan Siaha. Quayshawn Lester Smith. Jasmine Stokes. Alexis Bean. Lily Watson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rex Scott, and it is one of the greatest honors of my life and also one of the most profound joys of my life to serve as the principal at Catalina High School, the home of Trojan Pride since 1957. In preparation for this evening, I went to the teachers and counselors of every student that is being honored and asked them to describe that student for me in one word. And our first honoree is Nicole Adun, and she is described as exuberant. Elizabeth Ajang Bior, described as driven. Patricia Cole, described as energy amplified. Gianbari Dibam, described as determined. Jordan Gilmore and one of his teachers described him as precise. Aminata Kaita and one of her counselors described her as genuine. David Machora, his English teacher, described him as a true intellectual. Kelly Roundtree, I describe her as exemplary. Isaiah Scott, despite the limits of his last name, described as good-natured. Dominic Stovall, knowledgeable. Tasha Wilson, the very definition of hardworking. Congratulations to all those Trojans. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Rincon, Savino, and Dudley are on deck.
We're cutting in line. I'm Ann Dudley, and I'm the principal of the Teenage Parent High School, and I'm here tonight to honor two very special young ladies who are amazing parents of beautiful young children, and they are also amazing academics. And so the first young lady who I'm here to honor tonight is Alice Ingham. And the second young lady has also secured an internship position this summer in one of the U of A science labs with one of our science teachers, which is incredible, as a sophomore. And this is Kristen Walker.
Yes, my name is Frank, and I'm here to introduce our two kids from Pueblo High School. First, I have Khadija Jama Abdi. And second, I have her sister, Mana Jama Abdi. Who has a 4.0. Great job.
Okay, Rincon, Sabino, and Saguaro should be lining up. After that, Santa Rita University and Tucson High School.
Good afternoon. I'm Tariq Rasul, Assistant Principal, Choya High School, and I have Mr. George Brown with me from the African American Studies Department. Our first recipient, a freshman for academics, Autumn Barnes. The next recipient is going to Spelman University. Her name is Kemanir Eastman. Averill Hartfield. And the favorite hunter, Tierra Hunter, U of A. We always got to have a humanitarian, Destiny Joe, Pima U of A bound. Jaquan Mall, ASU. And Balls Bonira, academics. Taylor Younger, another humanitarian, ASU. Thank you very much.
Rincon, Sabino, Saguaro, Santa Rita University, and Tucson. And I know that Mr. Hart wanted to make another announcement.
Briefly, while we're waiting on the next school, Mr. Maxwell, would you please stand? I want to give a little history. This is always important that we learn our history. It's ironic that we're having this program here in the grand ballroom at the Student Union, but Mr. Maxwell was literally the first African American, along with the Udall brothers, to integrate the Student Union here at the University of Arizona many, many years ago. Let's give him a round of applause for that.
Good evening. I'm Russell Doty, Assistant Principal for Curriculum and Instruction at Sabino High School. And with me this evening is Mr. Bruce Williams, our Learning Sports Coordinator. I would like to thank all the parents who are here, who have helped our students succeed and get where they are today. So thank you very much, parents. To begin with our Sabercats this evening is Mr. Marcus Edwards. Mr. Charles Izugu. Miss Kayla Hill. Miss Devon Hunley. Mr. Andrew Muse. Miss Maya Wallace. Miss Zoe White. Miss Diana Wright.
I'm excited about this next group of Rincon Rangers coming to the stage.
Good evening, I'm Kathy Comstock. I'm the principal of Rincon High School, and we're here to congratulate our Rangers. Didi Dieki, Obi Dieki, Rahema Divine, Arian Fry, Mikael Irikos, and Priska Ishimwa, Belinda Niankuru, Jamila Tucker, Aaliyah Lewis, Abdul Mohammed, Hawa Mohammed, Mibaraka Jordan, thank you very much.
Good evening, my name is Chandra Thomas and I'm the assistant principal at Santa Rita High School. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to honor these students, and thank you parents for hanging in there. And without further ado, I'm going to ask Joshua Sanders from African American Student Services, who supports Santa Rita, to go ahead and make our announcements.
Dason Baker. Grace Mbaka. Shana Falcon. Sean Floyd. Tori Beth. Imani Logan. Kari Pan.
My name is Amy Sislag, and I am the very proud and excited assistant principal at University High School. We have 3 outstanding young ladies to recognize tonight. Unfortunately, we had a lot of students that told us, Ms. Sislag, I have to go to bed to study for the APs, so we'll acknowledge them in spirit. I'd like to introduce our wonderful College and Career Readiness Coordinator, Ms. Tria Allen, who will be announcing the names of these outstanding young women. Miss Maya Henry for Fine Arts Achievement. Miss Mackenzie King.
Mackenzie's little sister Kayla could not be here tonight, so Mackenzie's going to come back and shake hands for her sister as well. Natalie is guru. And for Kayla King. Thank you.
Well, good evening. My name is R.J. Lundstrom. I'm the assistant principal at Saguaro, and we are very proud of our cougar tonight, Prisca Montando, being awarded for her academic excellence.
Hello and good evening. My name is Clarice Clash, the proud first Black principal of Tucson High, flagship for Tucson TUSD. Thank you to the governing board member.
Dr. Clash, excuse me. Okay, I'll do this.
We're shutting it down.
I'll do this part first. Please help me in giving a round of applause for the first African American principal of Tucson High.
I've been presenting at these awards for the last probably 10, 11 years as an assistant principal, so it means a lot to represent the flagship of our district, and I would like to thank our governing board members who are up here who voted their confidence in me to lead the largest school district. So without further ado, I have a great team behind me. I have Shauna Rodriguez, my assistant principal of curriculum, who will read the names, and Mr. Calhoun, dean of students, who will assist introducing my wonderful Badgers, who will also make history when they grow up.
All of our recipients are receiving an honor for academic achievement, beginning with Melina Acevedo. Soraya Bridges. Destiny Golden. Asia Haymore. Brian Oshaya. Racine Roebuck. Devin Strayhorn. Janisha Strong. Corey Wells. And Brianna Young. Congratulations, go Badgers!
And that concludes our ceremony. Thank all of you for coming out this evening.
Parents and community, thank you for being here. Parents, something we forgot to tell you, this is the first. The students have received certificates with the president's signature on it. So all the students got certificates from our dear president. The letter is also in the program booklet, so please keep this permanently. And we put the principal's name and school's name on the president's certificate.